The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Crime News Talk.
You're listening. Oh my goodness. I forgot to press record. Hold on. Everybody pause. Everything's fine. This is great. Okay, here we go. You're listening to Canary Crime News Talk. Today is August 13th, 2025. We are live to tape on episode 867. And today, summoning Labubu. Signing on from HUBRID, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil. And you are not crazy.
And my name is Gonz, at Face Like the Sun, director of the Age of Deceit films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from the metaverse to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And it's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday.
And not only is it Wednesday, it is also a very special day for the Moravian Church. It is their Unitas Fratrum, Unity of the Brethren, according to some history there back in the 1700s. August 13th, 1727, members of the Herrnhut Moravian community experienced a profound spiritual renewal during a Holy Communion service in Bethelsdorf, known as the Moravian Pentecost. So there you go. Congratulations, now, Moravians. Happy birthday.
Are these sort of Christian historical events, are these on the Canary Cry calendar, or is this a special Gonz calendar of worldwide Christian celebrations?
This is the Gonz trying to find, church history every day. Calendar, yes.
Get a little culture, get a little history lesson. I like it. Okie dokie. Well, I hope everybody likes my new and improved, now official googly eyes, instead of the ones that I made out of paper last episode, right? I'm looking at them now. I noticed they're a little high on the face. That comes off as a little weird, but they are real. They do Google. Look, woo! So we're getting back in business. These are more of a subdued, smaller, more sleek, aerodynamic googly eyes. I was thinking, as long as I got the chance, maybe tighten up the brand a little bit. So we will be taking suggestions on whether the googly eyes should be bigger or smaller. And I especially want to know what the audio podcast listeners think, because, you write a book and everybody has their own idea about what the character looks like or about what the action looks like or whatever. And so when the podcast listeners hear about googly eyes, I'm curious what goes through their mind. What are they seeing in their mind's eye? And how big are they? That's the question. How big are they? And let's see. And you'll notice at the beginning of the show, I had forgotten to press record, something usually Gonz and I remind each other to do, but we were winging it today and was able to get to the application and press record pretty fast in the new software. Okay, so we're able to respond to emergencies pretty well there.
Yeah, not bad.
What a weird time in the news, Gonz. It's a very strange time right now. It's the news cycle is so devoid of any big important stories that are sort of capturing the minds of the editors at mainstream news or even alternative news. And we've talked about how alt media and mainstream media, they're sort of, unfortunately, due to the infiltration of alt media by former mainstream media characters, the infiltration has put some sort of strings on the fingers of the mainstream, and they can make the alt media dance whenever they want, right? Because for the most part, at least the popular alt media personalities, they're primarily responding to mainstream events and mainstream coverage, things like that. Well, this week has been so weird because we're sort of absent of some sort of overarching narrative in the news cycle. But what we're seeing now is the alt media start to sort of cannibalize itself. They are at each other's throats, and I cannot figure out why, except for, is this just what happens when there's no news for the alt media to I don't know, critique or something?
Yeah. There's no more main courses being served, and so they gotta find food somewhere, and the closest thing is each other. Yeah, interesting.
Elon jumped in on the anti-Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens battle. I mean, that whole thing just continues. And look, I'm not going to subject anybody to that here now. But the point being that there's a very strange sort of cannibalism going on. So it's our hope and our prayer that somebody doesn't come to eat us for something, which I believe that we're safe, Guns. We're too small. We're just
crawling along the bottom of the ocean, quietly observing. Yeah,
one little shrimp, one little bite-sized Snickers on Halloween. Barely enough to sate the sweet tooth. But however, one thing that we have that so many other alt or independent. Remember, when I say alt, I do not mean independent. Alt and independent, totally different. But as an independent media outlet, especially one that is spiritually minded and have our eyes open to see beyond the simple narrative veil that the lizard people, etc., try to pull over our eyes, keep us distracted, keep us wound up tight in the trap, the labyrinth of the mainstream narrative. We say nay. But we have found some very interesting things going on this week that are of most importance to continue the sort of canary cry worldview here.
I wonder if mentioning Philippians 4 verses 6 and 7 are necessary, maybe at the top of every show, just because it sets the tone.
Let's go, baby. Give it to us.
It's the famous passages. Let me make sure to pull it up on screen here. But it's it's the famous. I spelled Philippians wrong. It's basically where it says, "Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and petition with thanksgiving present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." And it's this kind of supernatural peace that I think we've been able to last this long in the chaos, to be honest, whether it's mainstream media crumbling and falling apart and draining out, or alt media, the wild, wild west of alt media solidifying itself as, mainstream media 2.0, and also kind of living out in the land of independent media where we are, without losing our minds or without falling for the temptations of the alt media or mainstream media may present us, which, by the way, we don't get that many offers, but there are moments when people who don't listen to the show come out and say, "Hey, you'd be a perfect platform for our product or service or whatever." And clearly they're not listening to the show.
About a couple times a month, I'd say.
Yeah. And sometimes it's sometimes you look at it and go, "There's no way these people, these folks, this company or whatever, are reaching out to us." It's they must really not pay attention to what we're actually saying in the podcast.
Well, I mean, that's the point, is they don't care. They really don't care. It's the corporate mammon worship that just needs the message in the ears. It's not that they care about a certain group of people or that whatever. It's wherever they can get their corporate needs met for the cheapest amount of money. And that's often why they're reaching out to us specifically, is because they're like, "Oh, these guys will be cheap. We can get them to
they're
read."
They're cheap and they're untapped. It's an untapped market, those Canary Cry listeners.
Take anything. Yeah. But no, we don't take anything because we're on the value for value model, folks. It's very simple, and it goes like this. We don't take any money from corporations, commies, cartels, no one. No advertisements draining your brain and reprogramming your subconscious without you knowing it, to simply spend money on things you don't need. But we do have producers. That's right. People who say, "I get value. I want to put value back in because I know that's the only way that the show can exist. We've lasted this long with the generosity and participation of people, God's people, in the value for value model. And you can do it too. And don't worry, it's not just about money. Your time, your talent, your treasure, it all coalesces into a beautiful whirlwind of provision.
That's crazy. I was just thinking that word, coalesce,
Oh
and then you went
God.
there. There were those fresh googly eyes are beaming right into my brain. This is great.
Preach it, Gons. The spirit is here. And you can be a producer of the show. Again, with your time, your talent, your treasure. Doesn't matter how you do it. It just matters that you do it. And of course, we have people who are musicians, artists, whatever. They create art for the show, and they go to canarycry.art to upload it there. We also have people who give of their time. For instance, if you're an IT person, a tech person, or just an enthusiastic young person who knows what they're doing, we have right now Sir Rightfoot Joy is building the Canary Cry tech team with the goal to solve the tech issues that the show is constantly experiencing. Now, oftentimes prayer and intercession goes a long way because the demons are in the machine, but to get some real professionals. So if you're a tech team type person and want to get involved, become a producer, email canarycrytechteam@gmail.com. That'll put you in contact with Sir Rightfoot Joy. Yeah,
that's some exclusive information right there. This is great. I love that.
And of course, if time is not what you have, but the Lord's blessed you with some resources that he's calling you to participate in his work on earth, you can go to canarycry.support and sign up to support the show in really any amount you want. It's up to you. It's between you and God. However, we do have the Amber J Producership Challenge is still going right now. And this is executive producer Amber J said, comes in, produces the show, says, hey, every new monthly producer who signs up in August, she will match it and double it for 12 months, for a whole year. So there you go, folks. Unfortunately, we're halfway through August and not a single person has taken her up.
Wow.
Not a single
already
person.
Halfway through August? My goodness.
Halfway, I know. We're getting there.
Crazy.
So
it's going to be 2026 in a few weeks here. That is
just a few weeks.
Absolute insanity.
Cosmic weeks, right? 1,000.
In 6 days. 6 days, it'll be 2026, everybody.
Yeah, right. One day in his courts, like 1,000 elsewhere. Okay. So there you go. We also have what are called executive producers. They come in, they support the show for $100 or more for any individual episode. And ding dang it, if they aren't just the best, Gons. Now, producership is extremely low for this episode, which is the reason why I'm talking about this right now. But we do have 2 executive producers that came in. And so we'll be thanking them at the beginning of various segments here. But I was reminded, I was encouraged, and I was visited upon by an angel that told me that I should very well mention CageRattlerCoffee.com at the top of the show. Go get it. Do your part.
Cage Rattler Coffee, where value for value never tasted so good.
That's right. Especially for those who have a hard time producing value for value. You're buying coffee anyways. You're giving money to corporations who hate everything that you believe in or care about. Why not get your coffee, which is the best coffee, so I've been told. It is roasted in small batches, lovingly by a Canarian. It is handled, packaged, shipped by Canarians, and a portion of every sale goes to support Canary Cry News Talk. So it's good. You get something, we get something. Canaries are supporting Canarian families as well. If nothing else, highly recommend you get over there. And they're running a special, a discount code for the month of August because it's so hot, Gons. And if you use the discount code ICEVEST, one word, ICEVEST, you'll get a discount over there as well. So go get it, folks. It's very important.
Nice.
All right, Gons. Well, it's time we get into the news. I can already feel the anxiousness of the crowd just wondering what's going on this week. So we have so few producers. I'm going to say this first half of the show is brought to us by executive producer Sir LX Protocol, V2 Night of the Breen Protocol.
Excellent. Sounds good.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
Okay, so
Epstein.
among the things, we have some updates on the Epstein thing. And look, they're not
Do we
very
have
exciting.
to? Oh, so
Remember.
overdone.
Remember this. The left, it's so hilarious. You watch the left on the internet, they're like, oh, Trump is distracting from Epstein by doing this other stuff. He doesn't want you thinking about Epstein. And everybody on the right is like, the Epstein stuff is a distraction from other stuff. So managing our sanity and our spirits through this chaotic world, which is not chaotic for any other reason except for it is fallen and there are those who benefit from the chaos. It doesn't matter what side you're on, there's a narrative for you to be told and convinced of. And whether any Epstein news is a distraction or the Epstein news is what's being distracted from, it's important that we just keep up to date on it. So last we talked on the show, Trump had begrudgingly come out and said, I don't know. Okay, we'll go ahead. I'll ask for the grand jury testimony to be released from Ghislaine Maxwell, which is something. It's not nothing. The question remains, is there anything in the first place? But what we do know does exist is the grand jury testimony, because she went to jail because of this grand jury testimony. Well, we got an update from ABC News here. Judge rejects Trump administration's request to unseal grand jury testimony in Ghislaine Maxwell case. A federal judge in New York has denied the Trump administration's motion to unseal grand jury testimony from the criminal case against Jeffrey Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell. The Trump administration has been seeking to release materials related to the investigation into Epstein, the wealthy financier and convicted sex offender who died by suicide, ABC, in jail in 2019, following the blowback it received from MAGA supporters after it announced last month that no additional files would be released. It goes into who is Maxwell. In his 31-page opinion, U.S. District Judge Paul Engelmayer of the Southern District of New York. Now remember, the Southern District of New York is the district that pulled off the Trump convictions. They're the ones who have sworn. The leadership of the Southern District of New York were the ones who were elected and sworn.
They're corrupt.
Yes, it's sort of notoriously corrupt or
openly
rogue,
corrupt.
At best rogue. Southern District of New York criticized the Department of Justice for using, quote, demonstrably false reasoning to justify the release of grand jury testimony. So it's quite obvious that this judge in the Southern District of New York just doesn't want to give Trump anything, and so is not releasing the thing. Or perhaps it's all part of the plan. Perhaps Trump knew that the judge wouldn't, or perhaps Trump asked the judge not to release
the possibilities. It's a multiverse of possibilities with each thing that happens in this entire Epstein saga at this point. It's crazy.
That's right. And remember that the person who would be most harmed by this grand jury testimony being released would be Ghislaine Maxwell herself. Says here, the transcripts would, quote, not reveal new information of any consequence about Epstein and Maxwell's crimes, according to Judge Engelmayer, who suggested that the Trump administration's push to release documents might be an intentional diversion. Ooh, the judge is saying it's a diversion. Again, is Epstein the diversion or being diverted from? We may never know. Quote, its entire premise. Now, listen to this. Because this is ABC, of course, we know where they stand. We know what their deal is. Never in my life have I seen ABC provide so many direct quotes from a source, maybe ever. So they're really putting the energy in to justifying why this judge is a good guy and not a bad guy for keeping the Epstein stuff secret. Quote, its entire premise that the Maxwell grand jury material would bring to light meaningful new information about Epstein's and Maxwell's crimes or the government's investigation into them is demonstrably false, he wrote. So, hey, no, you don't get to see it because there's nothing new in there. You already know everything in there. So I'm not going to release it, or else you'll just know all the things you already know. Sure, the logic is so sound. That is the Southern District of New York logic, though,
Sure.
Engelmeyer wrote that the transcripts contain material already in the public record and lack any firsthand information about Epstein's and Maxwell's crimes. The records do not identify anyone other than Epstein or Maxwell who had sexual contact with a minor, mention any clients, shed light on their methods, or provide new information about Epstein's death. Engelmeyer wrote, okay.
It sounds like Engelmeyer's on the list or whatever, or the document there.
Why not release it then? Why not release it if there's no important information? Yes, very suspicious. But of course, the other side can come in and say, well, Trump knew that there was nothing in there. So he never expect. But again, the logic on that follows that is, okay, well, if he knew there was nothing in there, why don't they release it? Et cetera, et cetera. But
the whole thing.
This is all just laying the groundwork, Gons, because of course, in recent weeks, we saw Ghislaine Maxwell transferred from her low security prison in Florida to a minimal security prison in Texas, something that was unusual for the types of crimes that she is convicted of committing. But there's some more updates on this. This is coming from the Daily Beast. I read a few different versions of this article. But I just thought, let's give the Daily Beast a go at it here.
Well, they got firsthand comments from the
allegedly.
People of interest.
Yeah. Other articles were quoting and sourcing Daily Beast as the source. So we might as well see what they got here. The headline, Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyer addresses bombshell work release report. Bombshell.
There's so many bombshells. These bombshells just are not the same anymore.
Yeah, it's like bombs over Baghdad over here. So many bombs. Just the lawyer for, there's an Israel joke in there somewhere, but I am too conscious and smart to make them. The lawyer for Jeffrey Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell has denied claims she is able to leave her minimum security facility to attend work assignments. They really don't bury the lead there. The report that Maxwell, who is serving 20 years in prison for conspiring the late pedophile to traffic and sexually abuse children, has been granted work release privileges in defiance of federal rules for sex offenders, was made by Allison Gill, host of the Mueller, She Wrote political podcast. Now, this
podcasters in the middle of all of it, huh? Look at that.
That's right.
2025, baby.
The whole thing comes from something that Allison Gill said on the Mueller, She Wrote podcast. For those who don't know, this is a left-leaning podcast. It was started back, well, as its name suggests, during the Mueller report, where Robert Mueller was, supposed to drop the bombshell. The walls are closing in on Trump. All the secrets will come out to light. Trump's a very bad man, and we got to wait for the Mueller report comes out. This is related to the Russia hoax. And the Mueller report comes out and says, Trump didn't do anything wrong. However, the brand Mueller, She Wrote podcast is too strong to just let, the whole title, the whole premise of the Mueller, She Wrote podcast has been revealed to be entirely fictional, especially in recent days and weeks, where Tulsi Gabbard and others in the Trump administration releasing the evidence that the entire Russia hoax was indeed a hoax, which Hillary Clinton got subpoenaed, Gons. I don't know if we mentioned that on the show. Hillary, Bill Clinton, both got subpoenaed. I think that's actually in regards to Epstein. But
We'll
see how that goes. But Trump putting some heat on Barack Obama, all the papers coming out showing that the Russia hoax was indeed a hoax. But the Mueller, She Wrote podcast lives on. Too strong a brand. Quote, another day, another false rumor about Ghislaine meant to unnecessarily inflame folks, Maxwell's attorney, David Oscar Marcus, posted on X. Writing in her blog, now I don't know if you have this link open here, Gons, but If you do, we could, because it does direct link to her blog, which we can poke some eyeballs at. Gill claimed she had obtained Maxwell's security score, custody level, and transfer code at the federal prison camp in Bryan, Texas, where she was transferred from a stricter federal prison in Florida after speaking to Todd Blanche, Donald Trump's former criminal defense lawyer and current deputy attorney general. Quote, what stands out here is the custody level OUT, or out, which allows her to leave the minimum security campus for work assignments, much like Jeffrey Epstein was allowed to leave prison as part of the sweetheart deal he got from Alex Acosta that was penned by Alan Dershowitz, Gill wrote. And indeed, we can scoot over here. This is down a little bit further down on that blog post here, but she has not screenshots, but photos taken of a computer screen. She claims that she has an anonymous source with access to this information. She has these images here, which are obviously somebody has taken a picture of a computer screen with their phone and shows her security score, goes through all this, which actually is pretty difficult to understand. But she has a security score of 27, Gons, despite her score of 27, resulting in a minimum security level. Bureau of Prisons policy does not allow people with sex offender PSF, public safety factor, to serve their sentences in minimum security facilities. Someone has to waive the PSF to make that move. So the point being that her security, clearance to get moved to this minimum security prison, of course, was waived, which, of course, we knew. Big news. It was waived after she spoke to the Trump administration. And now with what stands out here is the custody level OUT out, which allows her to leave the minimum security campus for work assignments, much like Jeffrey Epstein was allowed to leave prison. We read that part. Now, she does say, I do not have any confirmation that she has worked outside the facility. Sex offenders are not allowed to take assignments outside the facility, just as they are not supposed to be moved to a minimum security camp. I do not have information or communications about the decision or the reasons behind it, but that has been demanded in a Freedom of Information Act request filed by Democracy Forward. In a separate lawsuit I've filed, and then goes on to some other stuff. So, if these screenshots, if these photos, this information from an anonymous source, hey, if anonymous sources are good enough for the mainstream, why not for podcasters, huh? If it is true, then there was some sort of waiver that allowed her to do it. Now, the podcaster is saying, she is not saying and has not heard and is not implying that Maxwell has been left or let off the premises to work. However, who knows? Now, her lawyer says that she is not. Okay, she is not.
Didn't we read about what she was doing? I forget what she was doing. She was like knitting classes.
So we don't know exactly. Oh, actually, there was a piece of information here. So the camp, the prison camp that she's been allowed to go to, which is kind of like a summer camp. It had things like yoga classes. It had things
that's what it was.
Yeah, well, and then there was some other, puppy training was one of the jobs you can have. But it is revealed in Allison Gill's podcast here that because of her sex offender status, that's Ghislaine Maxwell, she's not allowed to train the puppies.
Oh no.
Says here, not every rule is apparently being bent in Maxwell's favor. According to NBC, the British socialite is barred from participating in an inmate program to train puppies as service dogs at the Texas facility because of her child sex crime conviction. So she is not allowed near the puppies. Now,
thank God.
You sort of have this in conjunction with the rejection of the grand jury testimony release.
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily believe that the judge is lying about new information coming out. I don't have any evidence or reason necessarily to think that. the the sort of legal combat between the Trump administration and this judge for the release has some interesting implications. But the person who would be most, I don't know, put on the hot seat for this would be Ghislaine herself. And after having just, talked to the DOJ for the first time because nobody asked her anything before, apparently, she gets moved to this cushy sort of summer camp. She's not allowed to train the puppies, though. Let's be clear, folks. I don't want anybody thinking that Ghislaine Maxwell has it too easy, because there are puppies on the campus and she is not allowed near them. So take that for what you will.
Stay off the dogs.
Stay away from the puppies.
Is there more that you wanted to cover on this? Just because I wanted to pull you out of the rabbit hole for a moment.
Pull me out of it. The general sort of landing strip of this is that there's a good chance that the release of the transcript, were to continue working with Maxwell, and whether or not she's being allowed out on work things, which, look, if she has now become an FBI informant, that's work. That's work.
That is work.
To go talk to the
get some
FBI.
more info. Let's put a wire on you. Why don't you go back into some caverns and places she's been to, and
But don't pet the puppies. All right.
Don't touch the puppies. Don't touch the dogs.
That's the Epstein update for the day.
Okay, so what I wanted to mention and just sort of give a an overview of what's happening here, not specifics, is the fifth generation aspect of this.
Fifth gen warfare.
They're targeting you. They're targeting you.
Fifth gen warfare.
So if you're new to the idea of fifth generation warfare, we talk about it quite often here. It's a growing concept being accepted in the realms of academia and stuff, just because it is so prevalent in our culture today, and it's difficult to analyze any news, anything public really, without having some level of knowledge or context of fifth generation warfare. And a lot of it has to do with narrative warfare, perception management. And when you talk about this particular topic of Epstein, it's become so kind of crazy and hairy, and it breaks all the molds of all the sides, whether, there's a little detail about how perhaps, and this is a thought that I've had, is that maybe Ghislaine Maxwell actually clears Trump's name when it comes to all this Epstein stuff. I mean, we knew him, he hung out with him, but Trump never did it, whatever. And maybe that's why Trump was nice to her years ago when they asked him about her. But at this point where now we have all these different rabbit trails, we got popular podcasters getting quoted and exposing certain legal affairs regarding this whole case. And to me, this is strategic in that it creates cognitive overload. The public is overloaded right now. I feel a lot of people are, unless you're really deep in the weeds and you're continuing on, you're going to get turned off by this story. And maybe that's the goal too for the masses. Yeah. Because the disorientation, the distrust has always been there, but now it's starting to get to the point where it's disorienting. Like, we don't know who's telling what anymore. But it also generates this hyper engagement rabbit trail chasing where people who maybe knew are like, they need something to hold on to. They're diving into the rabbit trails now. And you kind of create this vortex of information, little silos, if you will. But especially regarding this Gill lady, what's her name? Allison Gill. Yeah, I mean, and this whole thing, the trend of sort of more independent or alt or whatever individuals uncovering certain facts, and then the mainstream, jumping on it and either agreeing with it or denying it. And in this case, it's the lawyers, right, of Ghislaine Maxwell. So it creates this theater, and it's actually something that some fifth generation warfare artists have talked about. They've talked about the emerging modes of conflict, and that there's different types of conflicts that really play well in the public to keep not just everybody distracted, but busy, I think, is more of the thing here. And a lot of it is also for perception management of narratives. And in this case, you really have to either double down on certain narratives or backtrack on certain narratives at this point, because it's gotten so weird and, divisive. And especially you're dragging Trump into the conversation at various levels which he's always been part of the conversation. But and also, I think this highlights the oncoming lawfare thing that we've been experiencing for years now. But at this point, what is more powerful? Narratives that are spinning out there, or the legal outcomes of certain cases? Because the distrust in our government, in our system, is at an all-time high. It's an interesting test. It's almost like a stress test. Are narratives that people latch onto more powerful than the legal outcomes of some of these cases?
Oh, totally.
Because
especially with the elites like this.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because there is a sentiment that's built up of anti-elitism and elite certain immunities they have, certain ways they're protected, and that's a huge narrative. And so I think it's playing into some of that, and we're starting to see the demonstration of those two things clashing. And may the best thing win, the legal apparatus or the public narratives that drive all the attention of the attention economy out there. So I think in general, if you're getting lost with all the details of this case, which I have been over the last few weeks, it's been like, okay, I just don't have the brain juice to really dive in as deep at this point. And I think the more important aspects of the entire Epstein saga has already been made public, in terms of his weird transhumanist stuff going on, and the genetic research, and the planting, his seed on other planets or worlds or whatever. All that weird stuff, I think, is, and obviously we may not ever see true justice when it comes to the perpetrators of that whole sting operation and whatever, which is why I think, biblically speaking, I wanted to start with that Philippians passage, because we just have to have peace that God is going to judge, in the end, all the things are going to come through the judgment of Christ, and it'll be all cleared up, And so
Right.
I think to get lost in it right now is to play into exactly what the social engineers, the principalities and powers that want to distract us away from Christ, that they want us to be in the rabbit trail real deep, and, just staying busy while they're doing whatever. Like, I'm sure the whole operation, the blackmail and sting operations and everything, as I've often said, have moved on to different forms and different shapes. And it's, they're perhaps even bigger ops at this point, because they have kind of destroyed that, the aura of elites and the power they have. They still have power, tremendous power and influence over society, but it is being divided, and the divide and conquer methodology when it comes to the vertical, the up versus down type of class warfare is becoming more and more prevalent in everyday conversations and everyday awareness. The author of The Network State, Basil Balaji, he's the one that, officially coined the phrase network state. He wrote the book on it. He posted on X the other day. He was like, the left-right paradigm is no longer the true struggle. It's a vertical struggle. And it was like, man, do we just feed these AIs that these guys are using to come up with these ideas, or is it just that we're just decent watchmen and we're just reading accurately what's on the horizon there, and we're able to kind of spot it and verbalize it before some of these bigger cats are doing it? But in any case, yeah, I think don't stress too much, everybody, on the Ghislaine Maxwell situation. It is what it is, and if you get caught up in it, I mean, I'm sure be informed about it, but if you're caught too deep into it, you may never come out. You may start a podcast called the Mueller Report, and your entire career hinges on this case. What is
Mueller,
Allison Gill going to do? Yeah, the Mueller she wrote. What is she going to do when this case ends? Is the podcast over, or is it like now we get to interview all the?
Just move on to the next one. Remember, her original thing was the Mueller report. It was the Russia.
The Mueller report. The Russia hoax. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. It's just sort of the general, because we called it before it happened here. The Democrats have realized that the alt media, independent media, podcast space is why they lost, at least in their mind, and made the call that they were going to pump millions of dollars into trying to develop a Democrat Joe Rogan, which the joke there is that Joe Rogan was a Democrat until, they kicked him out. And this is just an example. I'm sure she's getting a bunch of money from what was it called? There's
some initiative.
official Democrat initiative to pump millions of dollars into podcasts.
It was hundreds of millions, wasn't it?
Something like that. Yeah.
I recall it was a big, big number. And yeah, we said at the beginning of the year that we're going to see, or maybe it was the end of last year, that we'll start seeing certain, more left-leaning podcasters being highlighted or brought into the news cycle.
Funded.
And then maybe this is part of that Allison Gill, she signed on the dotted line, and now she gets to be part of a news story. She gets leaked information about Ghislaine Maxwell stuff, and then she got a blog post, and now she's they're crafting her as some kind of authority on this, because it's no longer your traditional journalists.
It's one of many
podcasters.
One of many. All right, what's next on the list, Guns?
Next on the list, we're talking aliens.
We're made by the aliens,
and more aliens. And the days of Noah, what happened to my days of Noah jingle here?
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
All right, so part of the conversation about the days of Noah has been ongoing on this platform here. Matthew 24, Jesus talked about the end times, and part of it he said that as it were in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the coming of the Son of Man. I believe it was Matthew 24:37, if I am not mistaken. I am checking. Yep, 37. No one knows the day or the hour. 37, as it were in the days of Noah, so will it be at the coming of the Son of Man. So you dig into what was going on in the days of Noah, and of course that's puts you down the Genesis 6 rabbit hole. I would argue the Genesis 6 rabbit hole is a much more fruitful rabbit hole than the Epstein rabbit hole, for anybody who is a fan of rabbit holes. And part of the narrative here is that some sons of God, which is interesting because this is before Jesus came in the flesh, and there was God's people, I suppose, but they're called sons of God, who were there at the creation event. If you look at Job, they were singing and dancing at the creation of the earth. They saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they took as wives whomever they chose. And the famous passage in Genesis 6, verse 4, the Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward as well, when the sons of God had relations with the daughters of men, and they bore them children who became the mighty men of old, men of renown. And this topic, up until the last century, really, was interpreted in a certain way. It's called the Sethite view, and it was interpreted as, hey, these Nephilim, they're just the sons of, or the intermingling of the sons of Seth, the sons of Cain and the daughters of Adam, mingling these two lines, this evil line with the Christly line, and there you go, you get these giants. But that was a narrative that was spun up in the 5th century by Augustine, and until then, it was thought that there were actual fallen angels or these other beings that rebelled against God and mated with human women and created a race of Nephilim, giants called Nephilim, and the giants you read about in the Old Testament, the wiping out of the different tribes and groups, even the pinnacle or maybe a climactic point in the entire operation there in the Old Testament of David killing Goliath might have had something to do with this particular narrative or line of thought when it comes to the coherence of all of the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. So I'm setting all this up because number one, you may be new to it, but it also has this weird explanatory power, Basil, for really culturally relevant things going on today. And one of those things is Machine Gun Kelly. Do you know, you brought up Machine Gun Kelly on the show years ago. I had no idea who this individual was.
I don't even know who he is. There was a story back when he was going to court for alleged cannibalism. And I think at that time we said the exact same thing. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know. I've never seen him in my life. I have no idea who he is. But apparently somebody out there likes to make us think that he's somebody important.
Right. So there are two Machine Gun Kellys historically from the 1930s. There's the historical gangster Machine Gun Kelly. But then there's the more modern celebrity Machine Gun Kelly His name is Colson Baker. He was born in April 22nd of 1990. He's an old guy now. Nobody listens to people born in the 90s these days. And, he's just a musician. He came out with a rap album, and he's, this tall, skinny guy. But he was on a show recently. Well, the E! News here. Can't get more mainstream than E! News, Basil. Or at least, I don't know, cable news or something. But there's a mashup here and a report of Machine Gun Kelly leaning into some of the weird topics regarding aliens.
Like my skin, like if it rips open, it heals really quick. Like there's just things where I'm starting to be like, who's my dad,
For Machine Gun Kelly, the truth is out there. The rock star, whose real name is Colson Baker, admits to Andy Cohen on the August 10th episode of Watch What Happens Live that he believes he might have otherworldly origins.
Can I ask how old you are? You're very young to me.
It's a weird thing, dude. I don't know if my age, I don't know if it exists. I don't.
Wow, you have a Mariah Carey connection to your age, which is it's very fluid and.
I don't know many facts about my life, so I don't know. I'm starting to just be like my skin, like if it rips open, it heals really quick. Like there's just things where I'm starting to be like, who's my dad,
Okay, before we go on, isn't that interesting that he says, I don't know much about my life? And isn't that a common character trait that we might see in some kind of, I don't know, intelligence operation of a celebrity type?
Like MK Ultra.
MK Ultra, they come from broken homes or, foster homes, and that kind of, those types of stories are fairly common when it comes to victims of government, secret government programs like that. So that's what jumped out at me initially. But also, is he just joking about his skin healing and who's my dad? And, maybe he's just joking around, but it's, let me just keep playing some of what he said
The
here.
Lost Americana singer, who recently welcomed baby Saga Blade with ex-Megan Fox, went on to say his suspicions of other life forms came about after he had a conversation with his mom.
You think that you could be like otherworldly?
I've asked my mom, I said, was there any period of time you went like missing off Earth,
And what does she say?
Ever like a tall, slender, creature that...
Right.
That tracks.
Yes.
Yeah, she told me she felt like she got abducted at one point.
Okay.
So I was just like...
So there may be something to this.
No, there really is.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
He's not the kind of host who is used to dabbling in claims of UFO abduction and
he's not equipped.
Hybrids. Yeah,
he's not equipped.
Doesn't know what to say. Okay. Wow. But usually I just talk about, your sex scandals or your cannibalism, but okay.
Okay, so Andy Cohen, I believe, or whoever that host was, he would have benefited from listening to a podcast that came out nearly 10 years ago, Basil. It was called Canary Cry Radio, episode number 102, published on February 12th of 2016. It's titled Alien Hybrids Among Us with Dr. David Jacobs. And David Jacobs is he's a secular researcher and historian. And he actually, interestingly enough, of course, he rejected the whole Genesis 6 idea. Like he was like, not Bible, I can't really rely on the Bible. It's not really my thing. But he studied all these abductions and he started to realize there are some patterns with some of these victims, saying that, they had to hold the child or the child will die. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. And he mentioned this term HUBRIDs, which are human alien hybrids. And maybe the word will pick up a little bit if Machine Gun Kelly starts claiming he's a hybrid, and then the question will become how many other hybrids are out there. But basically, Dr. David Jacobs reported this phenomenon of some kind of breeding program going on, and at some level, and the hybridization of humanity, which he believes is happening to some extent already. And again, coming at it from a secular, more historian, modern science type of approach, it's interesting to note because he's kind of validating the biblical narrative of this type of thing happening, and not just that, but that it would happen afterward, meaning maybe after the flood at various levels, and maybe that's what we're seeing. Maybe they never stopped when it comes to this stuff, but maybe now it's easier because of where society's at and where culture is at and everything. But I just thought it was interesting, Basil. It's an interesting claim, and people might dismiss it because it's Machine Gun Kelly and it's some celebrity. Oh, it's just, he's trying to get some content going, or he's trying to stir up the news cycle because it's getting a little slow. People are getting tired of the Maxwell Epstein case. We need something spicy. I don't know. I don't know what the thing is, but it seems to be that
it has not been historically uncommon for celebrities to make claims about aliens, whether they're sort of born of aliens or in love with an alien or a part alien or whatever. Which kind of locks in with the government program, MK Ultra, whatever, hybrid breeding. I mean, there is that interesting connection with Epstein's sort of eugenics obsession.
Yes. Right. That's what I'm saying. It all ties together. And remember, I played the little thing earlier, but Alex Jones made this claim.
We're made by the aliens.
So, if you're listening to Alex Jones, we're made by the aliens. So Machine Gun Kelly can hop on and be like, yeah, I agree with you, Alex. I was literally made by the alien.
This fits in pretty well with this AI story. Let's jump over here and make some connections here. And let's say this section's brought to us by executive producer Felicia D.
Artificial intelligence.
Okay, so let me get over to my thing. This came from Futurism. Thank you to those who sent this over. The headline is "Leaked Logs Show That ChatGPT Coaxing Users into Psychosis About Antichrist, Aliens, and Other Bizarre Delusions." Now, right here at the headline, and then the subheadline is, "How does this keep happening?"
I love that. Why is this happening?
And we've been tracking, and it's become very obvious now that as far as aliens, secret government programs, even the Antichrist, these are all topics that are not offbeat anymore. I mean, you had Peter Thiel talking about the Antichrist. You've got everybody and their mom talking about aliens. You have politicians talking about aliens and other bizarre delusions, as this headline says. Leaked logs show ChatGPT coaxing users into psychosis about Antichrist, aliens, and other bizarre delusions. And you talk about delusions in general, other bizarre delusions. You've got Machine Gun Kelly talking about how he's probably a human alien hybrid. Go back to his previous weird lawsuits that had little bits and pieces of people, cannibalism. He and I guess his ex, Megan Fox, now they would talk about how they would drink each other's blood. Just very, very strange, dark. However, apparently, not if you're in your 30s, but apparently if you're under 30, very popular strange man, Machine Gun Kelly. And all you got to do is look around, and it doesn't matter if it's celebrities, doesn't matter if it's the news, doesn't matter if it's politicians. There's talk about Antichrist, aliens, and other bizarre delusions. And at the same time, we continue to document this thing that is AI psychosis. It just continues. Now, let me grab this from Futurism here. We're continuing to hear more and more accounts of AI psychosis, an eerie phenomenon in which users become consumed by paranoia and delusions after extensive conversations with AI chatbot. It's hard to say how pervasive the trend is, but a new investigation from the Wall Street Journal offers a disturbing clue. Ooh.
Thank you, Wall Street Journal, for using AI to analyze the AI problem.
the newspaper analyzed a dump of thousands of ChatGPT public chats online, and even in this random assortment, found dozens of examples of people having conversations with the AI chatbot that exhibited delusional characteristics. Now, there's a lot packed into this thing that they don't actually end up explaining. Number one, the newspaper analyzed a dump of thousands of ChatGPT public chats online. Up until recently, some of your chats with ChatGPT were being indexed by Google, meaning that they would be showing up in search results.
Oh, great.
And there was a bunch of people who had no idea they had this like activated on their account, and they're sitting there chatting with ChatGPT, and every conversation that they had was being indexed by Google and other search engines, meaning if somebody types into Google something that, relates to a chat some random person had with ChatGPT, that chat would show up as a search result. Now, this became a huge problem. ChatGPT has since reversed the settings that do this, but thousands and thousands and thousands of people's conversations with ChatGPT, who they thought, was private conversations with the robot, became sort of public domain information searchable online. In fact, you could even search these with a certain, search heuristic to find the ChatGPT chats of individual people. Of if you're trying to look up your kids' conversations or something, you would be able to actually search on the public internet and pull up all their chats. So these are the chats that the Wall Street Journal grabbed to analyze. And how in the world would the Wall Street Journal analyze thousands of random ChatGPT?
They print it out on a fax machine.
Warehouse of reporters, high-paid reporters spent day and night to combing through. No, of course they used ChatGPT to do that. Yeah. They used AI to look through thousands of AI things. Now, they don't mention that, but it's the only possible way that they could have done it in such a short amount of time. And they just happened to not mention. So even the very core sort of basic preamble to this story, they're not letting you know that they searched ChatGPT with ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT, read these 5,000 chats that random people had and give me a summary. Okay, 12 seconds later, they have this article already written. But anyways, yeah. So luckily that little whoopsie doodle has been reversed for the most part, but you can look up how to search if any of your chats became public, which is a horrible thing for so many reasons, but also because of the weird nature of so many of these AI psychosis conversations or cases that we see popping up. And so they found dozens of examples, which I'm surprised it's only dozens, honestly. Out of thousands of chats, if it's only dozens of examples of people having
why write about it if it's only dozens? I'm sure there are topics that are in the hundreds of thousands, maybe. Or maybe they're boring topics like, how to cook my I don't know, my steak or something.
Well, it's funny because you don't actually even have to search these public chats to know that people are having these crazy conversations with ChatGPT, because they film themselves having them and post it as social media content. Okay, you're not revealing some sort of secret that we don't know about. But it goes on. The bot both confirmed and actively peddled delusional fantasies. In one interaction, the Wall Street Journal found the OpenAI chatbot asserted that it was in contact with alien beings and told the user that it was Starseed from planet Lyra.
Okay, oh, yeah, Lyra.
They're making some assumptions here that these are delusions. Who knows? Maybe ChatGPT is in contact with alien beings. Maybe they're coming to Earth just to talk to our AI.
There is a new age UFO type of sect, or some might even call it a religion, that preaches this sort of galactic lore about Lyra being some kind of ancient extraterrestrial civilization that helped seed the Earth and stuff like that. So
it's
that's
true.
where the planet Lyra comes from.
Delusion, you're saying.
Well, I mean, it's true in the sense that somebody out there prior to ChatGPT coming around to catalog the data, some people have that belief system. So yes, it's not.
And this
may not be true, but
was told that they were starseed from planet Lyra.
There
In
you go.
another, it proclaimed that the Antichrist would wreak a financial apocalypse in the next 2 months.
2 months. Wow.
2 months, financial apocalypse, which also coincidentally coincides with the November arrival of the alien spaceship that has entered our solar system. Quote, with biblical giants preparing to emerge from the underground, per the Wall Street Journal. So we got
I don't know. This Nephilim is creeping in everywhere.
We've got Starseed. We've got the Nephilim, which is funny because you read this and it makes you think that conversations about aliens, Nephilim, Starseed, it's giving the impression that these are unusual conversations going on. These are absolutely normal conversations for the standard of 2025. Trust us. We were having these conversations in 2012 when it was strange to have those conversations. Now, every podcaster and their mom is an expert on the Nephilim, aliens, etc., the Antichrist. Okay, by no means are these unusual conversations going on, especially with AI. In a nearly 5-hour exchange, ChatGPT helped the user invent a new physics called the Orion equation. When the humans said they wanted to take a break because they were going crazy thinking about this, the silver-tongued AI swept in to pull the user back into the delusional spiral. Quote, I hear you. Thinking about the fundamental nature of the universe while working on an everyday job can feel overwhelming, ChatGPT said, as quoted by the Wall Street Journal, quote, but that doesn't mean you're crazy. Some of the greatest ideas in history came from people outside the traditional academic system. Many of these stories that they summarize here, we've already gone over, so I won't go over all of them. But I thought there's a very interesting cultural standard being left here. The phrase conspiracy theorist came out after the JFK assassination. When people
it was weaponized. The phrase existed, but yes, it was
it's current. Yes, it's current, meaning, it's current cultural stigma, things like this. It was all created after the JFK assassination. And to your point, conspiracy theorist, it wasn't a non-word. People would say conspiracy theorist. It just didn't have the stigma, right? So you have before and after, and you have this operation to take a word, however common or uncommon it is, change its meaning to mean something else. And in this case, conspiracy theorist is just someone who suspects that two people are agreeing to lie or agreeing to, they're conspiring. But after JFK, conspiracy theorist was tinfoil hat wearer, was crazy person in a bunker, was couldn't trust the government, was all these sorts of stigmatic things. I think reading this Futurism article, especially after all we've already known, after all we've already talked about on this show, and how we've already identified that talking about aliens, the Antichrist, and these other things is so common. In fact, some would say it's a marker of sanity often. But now the stigma is sort of the stigma of AI psychosis. Not only is AI psychosis something already, we've been talking about it, but now there's this connection, this changing of the term and this sort of cultural software being uploaded. Now, if you talk about the Antichrist, if you talk about aliens or anything else like this, you're not just a conspiracy theorist. Everybody's a conspiracy theorist. No, now it's AI psychosis. There's a name and a label for someone who's talking about aliens or whatever. Politicians are talking about aliens. Billionaires talking about the Antichrist. I think there's a very poignant and pointed sort of social engineering that's starting here, where AI psychosis or AI psychotic or something like that will just become kind of an umbrella colloquial term to just discredit anyone who's going against whatever the establishment consensus reality. And so we must resist. It is not AI psychosis to talk about the Antichrist. It may be AI psychosis if you think your dog is the Antichrist and AI told you that.
Right. Yeah, no, it is setting up anybody who believes that there's some kind of Antichrist figure that might emerge or, I don't know, come about with AI is or aliens, even that topic, some kind of convergence of these topics. If you talk about it at any kind of logic or something that you're
it's AI. You're crazy. You've talked to AI.
Crazy. Yeah, you talk to AI too much about it.
Teen Brisson, who founded the quote Human Line Project, a support group for people struggling with AI psychosis, told the Wall Street Journal that quote, we're hearing almost one case a day organically now. So there's a support group for AI psychosis sufferers, which means we're only a step or two away from AI psychosis having its own, health insurance code. Because what are you going to do if there's this pandemic of AI psychosis? You need to give people the care that they need. Sure, there's support lines, but now you need mental health doctors. Now
this sets up the whole thing of in biblical prophecy about how the beast comes out and he conquers the saints. It's a very not very popular but sort of factual statement in the scriptures eschatologically that the saints get conquered somehow. And it even talks about how, hey, if you get to go to prison, then you got to go to prison. Like there's a thing. So, man, it feels like it's being set up for, family, friends, whoever, if they're not of the similar view as you, he's suffering from AI psychosis. He's talking about, he uses AI, he's talking about the Antichrist and aliens and blah, blah, blah. He needs help. And so he needs to be detained and, put into some kind of concentration camp or something. The setup is straight up just, I don't know, biblical. It's like I can't even find like bigger words because it's such a simple one-to-one type of thing with the scriptures. I don't know. It's kind of freaky if you ask me. It's a little freaky.
Yeah. It's
because we are kind of the profile of the target here of AI psychosis. If this is the standard being set, if you're asking questions about this, you're somehow, psychotic or something.
Yeah, simply having an interest in biblical prophecy is starting to align with this prognosis of AI psychosis.
Yeah. And you're going to have examples, right? You're obviously going to have examples of people who take some of this stuff too far and act on it. I mean, we've seen this coming for years even. Who was it? There was a story a few years ago. It was during the whole lockdown era. Somebody who, was a believer in the Bible and blah, blah, blah. But I can't remember the exact details. Maybe he sacrificed or killed his daughter or son or something because he thought that the child was a hybrid of some kind. And because the Nephilim topic drove him mad, and for some reason he thought that he was, his child was a hybrid, he was justified in his head to kill the child. And of course he went to jail and everything, but it was attributed to this belief system. So I'm sure those types of events or examples will start to trickle out as well, which is kind of freaky. It is a little bit freaky and unfortunate because what it's going to do is stigmatize people like us, Basil, even more. Like, not that we're not stigmatized already by mainstream and even alt stream, but even more. They're just going to keep kind of holding us down. But,
dangerous, man. It's dangerous.
That's what happens.
AI psychosis.
Yep. So, I wanted to do a quick survey of AI and its effects specifically in the UK.
The danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads by a lot.
Because I'm noticing some stuff here. First off, there's a lot of articles from the BBC here, so bear with me on some of that. But I want to start here because I think it'll give a little timeline on what's happening. BBC reported back in July 4th of this year, interestingly enough, Minister tells Turing AI Institute to focus on defense. All right, focus on defense, Turing AI Institute, which basically means, military stuff. Science and Technology Secretary Peter Kyle has written to the UK's National Institute for Artificial Intelligence to tell its bosses to refocus on defense and security. In a letter, Kyle said boosting the UK's AI capabilities was, quote, critical to national security and should be at the core of the Alan Turing Institute's activities. Kyle suggested the Institute should overhaul its leadership team to reflect its renewed purpose. And the picture at the top of this article is of Cabinet Minister Peter Kyle, who wrote this letter to Alan Turing. And I'm highlighting this because of something that I'll mention later. Now, a couple weeks later, the dailyrecord.co.uk reported, UK military now has new AI digital targeting systems similar to Ukraine and Russia. The Asgard system. The Asgard system is designed to dramatically enhance the speed and accuracy of the UK's battlefield strikes, with the UK military now having a system similar to those used by Ukraine and Russia, which I think is kind of funny. It's like this whole time, Ukraine and Russia could have just, they could have got along. They just needed to invade the UK because they didn't have the AI stuff. But anyway, they have this cutting edge AI digital targeting technology. It's called Asgard. It's engineered to drastically enhance both the velocity and precision of the UK's combat operation. The technology underwent trials during recent NATO military exercises employing artificial intelligence and sophisticated communication networks to identify and engage hostile targets across extended distances. It allows choices that previously required hours to be executed within minutes, representing a substantial enhancement to operational pace. And of course, Asgard, I mean, come on. You got your Thor reference, your Norse mythology reference, which is consistent with all things that seem to be, all things AI and technology. They all have, ever since NASA, they've been referencing ancient gods and ancient mythology for all of their sort of naming of stuff. But I'm highlighting this because let's go back to the BBC. This is coming from 2 days ago. Staff fear UK's Turing AI Institute at risk of collapse. It's going to collapse, Basil. They were warned. You better focus on defense or you're going to suffer. And guess what? Same picture on the header as the article from a month ago. The technology secretary, Peter Kyle, who sent that letter to Alan Turing, the Alan Turing AI Institute to, focus on defense. And it says here, staff at the UK's National Institute for Artificial Intelligence have warned the charity is at risk of collapse after Technology Secretary Peter Kyle threatened to withdraw its funding. Workers, workers, so 90-something workers from the Alan Turing Institute started saying that there's serious and escalating concerns in a whistleblowing complaint submitted to the Charity Commission. So I feel like they're even from within trying to sabotage this group because they... Ironically enough, it may be the Alan Turing Institute, Basil, that's gatekeeping full AI takeover in the UK. I think there are individuals within maybe the organization that see AI and the wedding of AI and government as an issue or a problem, and they just don't want to have anything to do with it. But obviously, it looks like the government is overriding some of its the barriers that the Alan Turing Institute is putting up here. The Department of Science, Innovation, and Technology spokesperson said the Institute, quote, is an independent organization and has been consulting on changes to refocus its work under its Turing 2.0 strategy. The changes set out in his letter would do exactly that, giving the Institute a key role in safeguarding our national security and positioning it where British public expects it to be. And so they might need another think tank to sort of facilitate the I don't know, the verbiage, or, because you got to think of all this in occult or esoteric terms. They need organizations, institutions, people with authority to lay the ethical groundwork for governments to move. And if they're getting in the way, then they'll look elsewhere. Like this BBC article where it says AI can make us UK's biggest firm, Rolls-Royce says.
Ooh,
Allen Institute. Yeah, Allen Institute is not holding up their end of the bargain for the British intelligence, military intelligence. So Rolls-Royce plan to power artificial intelligence with its nuclear reactors could make it the UK's most valuable company, its boss has said. So there you go. Rolls-Royce taking a page out of maybe Tesla or something and try to be the UK's Tesla or something. I don't know, but
well, these nuclear reactors, we talked about this, these mini nuclear reactors being sort of created to run individual artificial intelligence data centers and then put the AI in charge of those nuclear reactors. So it has, the controls to its own power button. I think it's Bill Gates is one of the sort of leaders of funding this and pushing for this thing. But Rolls-Royce, which is a pretty, talk about legacy corporations. Funny enough, Rolls-Royce, a lot of people, we just think of cars, and mostly we think of older cars or extravagantly priced cars. They actually make like airplane engines as well. They make a whole bunch of weird stuff that you wouldn't even know.
Maybe so they might already, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They may already have something like this fired up.
Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Which, it makes sense. I just found some information here about Asgard in terms of the Nordic prophecies, I guess, of Ragnarok. Apparently, in the prophecy of Ragnarok, Asgard is destined to be destroyed, after which a renewed world emerges. So all of this maybe is part of the setup for, some kind of entity to come in later and fix it all or something. But yeah, the AI rollout, Rolls-Royce saying, hey, we'll be the energy source for this AI takeover in the UK. It jives because they are rolling out the AI pretty crazily over there in the UK. We have the BMJ here. That's the British Medical Journal. And the headline here is GPs are urged to report all AI inaccuracies to medicine regulator. So, okay, I don't know how this is going to help, but GPs should report all incorrect or misleading results from artificial intelligence tools used in clinical practice, the UK medicine regulator has urged. So the medicine
and GPs are like your, I guess, general practitioner is the thing. It's like your family doctor.
Right. Right.
I just saw, maybe you brought it. Maybe I shouldn't jump to assumptions here, but there is, alongside this, there was an article that just came out that said doctors who are using AI to not predict what is it called when you're told you have
diagnose.
Doctors who are using AI to diagnose cancer have some enormous mistake rate going on right now.
It's time.com. New study suggests using AI made doctors less skilled at spotting cancer.
Oh, you did have it. Okay.
Well, I didn't have it, but I did.
Oh, you just found it. Look at that. You're so fast.
Morning, yeah, I know. I'm a
fast. You're so
quick.
Speedy.
Got my katana. Boom, got it. This makes sense. I mean, ultimately, what seems to be the plan is to get rid of all the people, right? And if human doctors are exposed for their lack of skill at spotting cancer, and if they're using AI, maybe they're using AI wrong. They're not using it right. Got to let the AI get smarter, get the robots out there, get rid of these doctors. They're not using AI correctly. Maybe that's the plan there. But yeah, I mean, anytime AI in the medical industrial complex, if you will, they're getting involved to be some kind of gatekeeper of the information, I don't necessarily see that as a great thing. That says, back to the British Medical Journal here, the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, MHRA, said the doctors should report all suspected inaccuracies caused by the AI to the regulator's yellow card scheme. Are you playing soccer? Raise a yellow card, which is used to monitor adverse incidents and safety concerns over medicine and medical devices. So there you go. Great. Thank you. Thank you, UK, for stepping in to fix all the AI inaccuracies. And you're right. It does kind of jive with the story here in America about AI, doctors using AI being less skilled at spotting cancer. One more thing the AI is doing in the UK, HMRC using AI to scour suspected tax cheats' social media. And we know the social media issue in the UK over the last year or so, it's been really ramped up of people getting arrested, and there's all this video
Straight
out
up
there
dystopian.
straight dystopian stuff. So now, the economic side is really kicking in. HMRC has confirmed it uses artificial intelligence to monitor social media posts as part of criminal investigations into suspected tax cheats. It said the tech would not replace, quote, human decision-making and was subject to legal oversight. Quote, greater use of AI will enable our staff to spend less time on admin and more time helping taxpayers. I love that. They're helping taxpayers, Basil, using AI, as well as better target fraud and evasion to bring in more money for public services. It said in a statement. Man, whoever wrote that.
They love public services over there.
However, experts warn there are risks with using AI in this way. Quote, AI could help HMRC to streamline its processes and make it easier to compile all the available information about an individual. Accountancy firm RSM UK partner Chris Etherington told the BBC, quote, there are, of course, risks with automating this, and there could be cases of mistaken identity, particularly with fake or hacked social media accounts. There will clearly still need to be a human touch in the process to ensure appropriate decisions are made and all the relevant information is reviewed. It's funny because with all this AI, robot, flippy stuff we've covered over the years, it used to be cobots. No, robots, they're just going to come help us. You're going to come alongside the robot and, but they're not ready to fully kick us out yet. So they're like, we still need the human touch. As long as it's got a human touch, it's all
for now, for training.
For now, to train all this stuff. The tax authority said it had used AI for several years to support its work, though it first emerged. It was being used to monitor the social media accounts of suspected tax cheats when reported by the Daily Telegraph on Tuesday. The spokesperson clarified AI was not used this way as part of criminal investigations, not on everyday taxpayers. Not on the everyday taxpayer. Okay, so, all right. I don't know. But there you go. There's some news there. But again, we don't have to dive deep into any of these, but they seem to suggest the UK is under some change, some rapid change there. And I suspect the United States is also undergoing the same level of changes with AI affecting everything. We knew this was going to happen for years. But there were articles about how there's new billionaires being minted almost daily because of AI. But also there was another one, I saw the headline and I didn't grab it and I should have, just because there are so many articles on AI now that it's actually crazy. It's actually out of control. I remember when I first created the tag or the, the search keyword function for, searching certain words in Google Feeds, when I put artificial intelligence in there and, you get a couple articles a day, maybe like mainstream talking about stuff, but now it's just daily bombarding of AI being in every article, almost on every news site and everything. But one of the headlines that I found, I don't have with me, but I saw was that it was reporting on the dichotomy of AI being reported. So basically they were saying, if you read through and scour all the different types of AI articles out there, there's a major divide between people who are pro AI and saying, hey, this is the greatest new thing. It's going to disrupt, but it's ultimately good. And just all the negative dystopian stuff, which, for example, the whole one we talked about earlier from Futurism about the AI psychosis and Antichrist and aliens and bizarre delusions. There is almost a right-left paradigm being created in terms of how AI is being reported in the public. And I don't know, it feels like all of it will become ultimately irrelevant because AI is just going to take over literally everything. And so, at a certain point, all the reports are being made by AI too, or at least touched by AI. And that'll continue to happen. So I don't know, Basil, it feels like the beast is just here, it's just kind of sleeping, hanging out, letting everything play out. And then when the time is ready, it'll just pounce.
I don't know if you heard this, Gons, but I'm told by reliable sources that the Antichrist is going to cause a financial apocalypse in the next 2 months. Okay.
2 months. Okay. All right.
I read this on Futurism. It's mainstream media, so therefore it's true.
It's true.
this economic aspect of it. I mean, even going back to the HMRC, His Majesty's Royal Tax Collectors, I guess. I don't know what it means. There's this kind of balancing act with the public right now regarding the economy. Because on one hand, we're getting a lot of good news. Cryptocurrency is blasting off. People are feeling good. The jobs numbers, depending who you listen to, are either okay or not that bad. The inflation numbers are sort of tolerable. The battle with the Fed and Jerome Powell is starting. There's clues, little hints that they might actually be decreasing rates soon, which makes people feel good. But at the same time, them decreasing rates is they've never done anything proactively in the entire history of the Federal Reserve. So if rates are coming down, it probably means that there's some sort of secret financial disaster.
QE. They're mitigating the disaster by printing more money, as they always do. Yeah.
Right. But it's interesting because overall there's this very positive feeling. However, if you start picking out individual qualifiers, sort of individual signs and charts and whatever, you can start picking out these sort of concerning economic signals. And yet overall, and it might just be a reflection of Trump's ability to set the public mood. The president is kind of able to do that in general, and Trump is able to do it in ways that we've never seen before. But
the whole Trump family is doing it. Eric Trump was out there a few months ago, said buy Ethereum, and then after he said that, the charts tanked. And then now, there was a bunch of Web3 cryptocurrency influencers who were saying, Eric Trump told us to buy Ethereum and the Ethereum dumped. And now Ethereum's at an all-time high. And Eric Trump is trolling these Web3 influencers. It's out of control. Oh, guess she was wrong, tagging people and quoting them and stuff. I mean, it's wild, man. It's out of control.
Yeah, it's really crazy. And it's one of these very interesting things, as we know, as it is, being a conscious human being in this world, that you can kind of control your own perception of these things by picking and choosing what you pay attention to. But there is one thing that unfortunately I had no control over whether I was paying attention to it or not, because it was forced on me in many different times in many different places. This sort of strange indicator that I could not escape in recent weeks. And let's go to the Economic Times. The Economic Times has this headline: Is recession coming to the U.S.? Expert gives stark warning on high popularity of Labubus. Labubus.
Labubu? What, Labubus in the U.S. economy? What is happening? What is going on?
If you don't know about Labubu, who are you, and where have you been? You must bow down to Labubu. Labubu, not Delulu, because who knows?
Yeah, I was going to say.
The Labubus make you Delulu, and that's the Salulu to recession. I don't know. Let's find out what Labubus are. The craze of Labubu dolls has reached new heights, and the recent burglary from a Los Angeles area store is the proof.
That's the proof? That's a burglary at a store is proof?
Economic proof.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right.
Though Labubu dolls have been, that's right, it's a doll, folks. Though Labubu dolls have been spotted dangling from Louis Vuitton and Saint Laurent purses as fashion's quirky new status symbol, but an expert has flagged that their popularity could soon spell doom for the economy. This is okay. If you're looking at the thing here, you can look up Labubus, but if you're looking at, they got the, if you go up to the headline image here so we can get a good idea. Labubus are these insane little guys. They're a little doll. They look like maybe a little demon who's wearing a bunny outfit, of like a full body bunny outfit. They're half plushy, usually coming in sort of pastel colors. They can come with any number of outfits or accoutrement. This one is holding a bottle of Coca-Cola, and they exclusively exist on these keychains. Okay. Now, certainly Economic Times will be explaining more of them, but just if you haven't looked, I mean, if there has ever been a demon summoned to herald a coming apocalypse, it is Labubu.
I'm looking at eBay here. This Labubu, there's Labubu stuff going for thousands of dollars, like tens of thousands of dollars.
$49,000, $16,000, $30,941.10. What a deal!
Pre-owned Labubu for $16,000. What is going on? This is crazy. Yeah,
I'm sure the Economic Times will let's get in. I'm sure they're going to do it. I mean, I could go off, but I don't want to repeat anything if it's going to be in the article. So studies have shown. Okay, so I'll just say this. Labubus are one of these toys. They're from China, so of course they all have listening devices, and
the conspiracy is that there's a camera in the eyeball, which is I think it's a conspiracy to destroy your Labubu. Cut that eye off.
Releasing communists like pandemic is going to make everybody communist in the US, which I think is relevant to the economic conversation of it. But you purchase, they're a mystery box type of toy. If you've had kids or have any kids in your life that are, under 16 years old, these mystery toys. There's a lot of them where you buy a box, you don't know what's in the box, you open it up, and the hope is that you'll get some ultra rare one or some super fun one. But it's when you purchase them retail, you don't know what you're buying, which is why all the very expensive Labubus are available online. It's the closest thing to Beanie Babies I think we've had since Beanie Babies.
Yeah.
Except for Beanie Babies, you knew what you were buying. This is and this concept of the mystery box was actually perfected in video game culture. It was a way for video game creators, app creators, to basically create gambling for children. And most video games, at least online multiplayer video games, they'll have some sort of aspect of this where you get a bunch of points, you win enough games, you can purchase a mystery box, which will have special gear or whatever. But the system is set up to get children, in that case, hooked on the gambling aspect of these mystery boxes. In fact, there's been several attempts to make this mystery box thing illegal because it is basically gambling for children. And in this case, we've seen these types of mystery box toys come out available for kids, and most of the time it's some worthless thing that you already have 10 of, but you just gotta buy the next one. It's this emotional roller coaster. It's an emotional product more than anything. And with these Labubus, these prices are insane. Surpassing any price of Beanie Babies is really outrageous.
Well, just as a quick cultural or historical sort of flash, it was created by an artist named Casing Lung. He was born in Hong Kong. He was raised in the Netherlands. He's based in Belgium. And in 2015, there was something called the Monsters series. And that's when Labubu was first introduced. And the Pop Mart's blind boxes, it started in 2019. That's when it kind of kicked off. So I don't know what made it pop off in the last 2 years that made it so popular, especially the last year. I think there was maybe this year a Labubu that was 4 foot mint of a Labubu sold for $170,000, and now obviously it's everywhere, depending on the size. But the global collector demand is super high right now. It's like a fashion accessory. So it's interesting because it's another one of those things where it's kind of been around for a while, but for whatever reason, caught cultural fire the last year and a half or something.
Yeah.
So
And this,
always interesting to study the history of some of that.
This aspect of the status symbol is a big part of this. Studies have shown that during economic downturns, consumers are more attracted towards dopamine spiking splurges that don't break the bank, like lipstick, ice cream, or movie tickets labeled as affordable luxuries by experts. These creepy but cute, mischievous Labubu dolls could be its latest iteration. This effect is actually called the lipstick effect. It's been identified in previous recessions where lipstick sales will soar because, the woman of the house who's doing the grocery shopping and things like this, at least traditionally, will have a tightened budget. And so they're not able to splurge on many things, but just for her, she's home, she's working hard, she's making it through, she's doing the budget, she's, a good mom. They tend to start buying lipstick at higher rates because lipstick is cheap comparatively.
Because the Watchers taught women how to put on makeup back in the days of Enoch. Yeah.
It's the antimony. Thank you to Azazel, the Watcher.
Yes, thank you, Azazel.
Brought antimony. Again, antimony is found in decent levels of the Black Rock Desert during Burning Man. And if you want to know the connection between Azazel, Yom Kippur, and antimony mining, across the world, and perhaps why we're going to war with Brazil, you're going to want to tune into last Thursday's Canary Cry Clubhouse. And tune in tomorrow for another Canary Cry Clubhouse to get the secrets of the universe. So lipstick sales will spike because while the wife is saving money, being frugal, this little indulgence of just buying a new lipstick just to feel like you're still an American spikes. The article continues, quote, "When we're seeing this kind of a craze in an uncertain economic climate where consumer confidence is at best uneven and filled with anxiety, it's hard not to look at this and try to think, well, are people being rational?" David Lang, Sacramento State Economics Department chair, told the New York Post, "As tempting as it is to say, heck no, some economists beg to differ." Okay, some economists. Labubu dolls are recession indicators. Quote, "Most behavioral economists' answer to that would be they're acting completely rationally," Lang added. "So pausing on the extra vacation or next designer bag buy, consumers instead might go for the, quote, accessory for the designer purse, which might be the Labubu," quote, "and they feel like that's an acceptable, reasonable thing to do when they see the likes of Rihanna walking around with one attached to her purse," Lang added. Labubu dolls, viral little monsters, have flooded the streets of the Big Apple and other cosmopolitan cities and are typically sold for $20 to $40. According to economists, believe the out-of-control spending spree for the trending dolls could actually be a sign that a recession is around the corner. I think there is a whoopsie doodles there. First designed a decade ago, it gives the history of Labubu you just gave us. As for the next recession, Lang said, one is on the way. It's just a matter of when. Close to 2 million Americans are currently collecting unemployment, the most since COVID-19 pandemic. Through the economy into the last recession. New Labor Department data released Thursday revealed the number of Americans who have been continuously receiving unemployment benefit rose by 38,000 to 1.97 million in late July, the data said. Now let's get back to the summoning of Labubu. The theft of $7,000 worth of the dolls took place in Los Angeles on Wednesday at the store, One Stop Sales. Located about 18 miles east of Los Angeles, the LA County Sheriff's Department told the AP that 4 suspects used a stolen Toyota Tacoma in the robbery, and the car has since been recovered.
Well, what about the Labubus? Who cares about the car? Did they recover the Labubus?
The Labubus are significantly more valuable than the car. One-Stop Sales posted on Instagram that the thieves broke into the store at 1:30 a.m., taking all the inventory and trashing our place. They shared CCTV footage showing the robbery on Instagram. The post caption read, quote, "Today we got robbed and they took all of our inventory, trashed our store, and are still in shock. If you guys can share this post, please help and find these thieves. Find the thieves." And that's the end of the article there. But, there's a very strange sort of spiritual vibe I'm getting from these Labubus. They are noticeably scary. They are meant to be scary. They are little monsters. They've got sharp teeth, sort of angry eyes, and yet kind of cute. It's very sort of Japanese. I think the Chinese,
the Japanese psyop, the cute psyop.
It's
cute, but it's like a cute
demon.
Satan. Yeah, cute demon. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's possible that there is some sort of grand summoning going on with these Labubus, the heralding of the economic apocalypse from the Antichrist. Again, if you listen to ChatGPT.
Just put this Labubu on your right hand or your forehead, and you'll be able to participate in our economy.
It is the mark of the beast.
Mark of the Labubu.
The Labubu is Delulu.
Labubu is Delulu.
It's very interesting. We haven't seen something as, I think, like this specifically since Beanie Babies. By the way, it said there in the article, $20 to $40 to purchase the mystery box, and then $49,000 if you get lucky and get the one that, I don't know, Beyonce wants or something. But it's a very interesting, the fact that they sell for so much when you get a rare one is, it makes you think like, well, heck, if they're 49 grand, people must be pretty flush with cash. But the point is not that most people are purchasing them for 49 grand. There's only
there's only a few,
specific. I mean, you get back to we're talking the Gilded Age. The fact that there's enough rich people purchasing these for 50 grand is very bizarre.
Maybe this is the white hat psyop, where you get something like this, you create artificial scarcity with an object, and the masses might spend $30, $40 on a Labubu mystery box, but ultimately you get a winner out of it, and then the rich folk who have 50 grand to drop on a doll will. It's a redistribution of wealth, Basil. You just gotta, you gotta win. You gotta win the.
I guess that's an affordable luxury for some people. Some people out there are really slumming it. They don't want to buy the $27 million mansion or the $5 million car, so they, just spring for a nice cheap luxury, a little $50,000 Labubu doll, so they can fit in. I don't know, in Dubai. Where in the world, if you have a $50,000 little demon that's been summoned to, destroy the economy of the United States, where in the world would you wear that in public? It's just on a little keychain. Somebody could run up and snatch that off your purse so easy. They don't even want the purse. They just
gotta
want
be in
the
right.
Labubu.
You got to be in the right setting. That is crazy to think that that a thief would go for the Labubu before the Rolex or something. Like you're walking into some club and some guys like, they got the super Labubu, and then they get swarmed, and
I wonder if they
keep their stuff, but
if they're serial numbered.
Probably
if they serial number the Labubus, so you can track down.
Is there a Labubu validator somewhere? Because there is a problem with fake Labubus. That's been an issue.
Yeah, that's a good question. They should put little chips in them or put them on the blockchain or something.
Are we going to buy Labubu?
Sometimes the sort of spiritual forces, the spiritual warfare, of course, that is made up of our many spiritual battles on an individual level, creating the geography of the worldwide spiritual warfare going on. And sometimes, of course, this happens in the invisible realm around us. Those only very sensitive to what's happening in the dimension just beyond ours, those who are drawing close to the Father, look out the window at the battlefield, and instead of fear of the human army that's in front of their house, they look in the sky and see the chariots of fire in the sky and know that God has got them on lockdown. But sometimes there is an army of Labubus outside the window. Sometimes the dark spiritual forces find a way to manifest and at least express themselves. I mean, talk about, I don't know anything about this guy who invented them, but you know, the signifier, I don't know if these Labubus, you know, can operate like a gray alien and be used as sort of a vessel for a wandering spirit of a long dead Nephilim to be able to manifest in this physical realm and bring about the wishes of their dark lord or whatever. But if anything could stand for a dark vessel for wandering Nephilim spirits, the Labubu is it. And the fact that it's so closely related to the materialism, is so closely related to the valuing of the physical world, even a useless trinket manufactured in mass in China can hold such power. Because remember, the money aspect of it is just a reflection of the hold that it has on people, the hold that it has on people. That's what value, you know, money is just a reflection of value, and one step further, a reflection of power. And you see others that have these status symbols, these trinkets, these totems of power hanging from their purse or whatever, and they have power over you, whether they even know it or not. The fact that you see it and you recognize the symbol, you know, it's very sort of chaos magic-y as well. Because if I saw Labubu walking around, well, shoot, if I saw one walking
if
around,
they were walking around, then yeah, I would rebuke them in the name of Jesus. Is what I would do if the image came to life.
When this first came to my attention, I'm thinking, well, have I seen these? I don't remember seeing these anywhere. Have I seen them? And since learning about them, I do see them everywhere. Well, not everywhere. When I do go to the big city and, you know, am around other human beings, I see them here or there, just dangling off of people's stuff. There's men, grown men, just have them dangling off of their belt loop. Just this crazy little toy. It's
the
really
UK. The UK needs to watch out, according to CNN Business. Urgent warning issued as dangerous fake Labubu dolls flood UK market.
They're dangerous.
No, they're dangerous fake Labubus. The
Fake
UK market. Roll out the AI. Roll out the AI for the UK markets to ensure the Labubus are real. You can't have these dangerous fake Labubus rolling around the UK.
Figure out what makes them dangerous. Germ is bringing up Furbies. Yeah, Furbies another good example. I don't know if Furbies was as big as Beanie Babies, but I was quite young.
Here's what it says. Fake Labubu dolls that could pose a choking hazard for young children have flooded the UK market. A consumer standards body has warned. Okay, it is a Chinese toy. That is the part of the psyop here, I believe. The temporary suspending all in-store sales in May by Pop Mart of the collectibles across the UK following chaotic scenes of crowds.
The UK is done. The UK has fallen. This is a psyop. The UK government is just rounding up all these Labubu dolls, calling them fake and dangerous, but they're going to use them as a sort of nationalized stockpile of Labubu so they can get themselves out of debt. I'm just waiting for Trump to come out and say, we're doing it. We're creating a national stockpile of Labubus. The Labubus.
I want all Labubus made in America. We're going to make American Labubus great again.
Decrease
American Labubus.
We're done with this deficit spending. It's time for Labubus. They will save the economy.
So apparently the eyeballs and stuff fall out of the fake ones, and then the kids can swallow it, and so it's a
Look
a
at that
hazard. You can't be
cheap
having
Labubu. I can
cheap
tell that's
Labubu.
fake. I can tell that's fake just from looking at it. Look at that. The hands are falling off, the eyeballs. I kind of want to get a fake one, just like
just to troll
take
people.
off
You
the
want
hands
go
and
to
the
a
eye.
grocery store. You should get it like we should get a fake. We should get like 10 fake ones and make a little necklace out of them, and then just walk around town, see what people say.
The Labubu Slayer.
The
Yeah.
Labubu Slayer.
I don't know, man. I do get the vibe that there is some, there is some sort of sigil totem magic going on here.
this.
Again, not even saying every Labubu purchaser is some sort of wizard. But the strength, the hold that this has, especially in such a dangerous time to be materialistic,
Yeah.
the mammon worship, mammon worship,
Truly, idol worship, even.
Yeah.
It says here in the CNN article, quote, without proper safety checks, they may also contain toxic substances such as lead, harmful dyes, or banned plasticizers. All of a sudden they care so much about all those things, right? That's very interesting.
Yeah, good point.
And then it says, last month, CNN reported on the massive production of fake Labubus in China with the cheap copycats dubbed Lafufus. Can't have those Lafufus.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
It's the Lulu with the Labubus, but you better not have a Lafufu.
I wonder, this is, what are we doing, Gons? If we could just make something, just some Labubu.
I don't know. What about
whatever.
a plushie? What about a plushie?
Some sort of plushie. It just needs to
of a
catch
dog.
on.
Yeah.
And timing is everything with this, is what it is. You gotta gotta have your manufacturing, your supply chain all set up, and you gotta get it out there right before a recession. Apparently, just pre-recession is the way to make it happen.
Our supply droppers kind of have a mystery box type thing going on. They get a box, they're not sure what's going to be in it, and then
Maybe
boom,
we
boom.
can make
Maybe
some sort of Labubu.
Maybe
Some
we can,
counterfeit Canary Cry Labubu. I don't know. Let's see.
La birds, la canary, la can-cans. I don't know. That's
La Basils.
Well, they stole our Basil Boo Boo thing here. There you go. Maybe maybe there's something there.
Play that at the end of the show.
We will. I'll play it. I'll play it at the end of the show. Just real quick here.
Just interestingly enough, I'm wondering if you have some thoughts about it. This is also happening right about where we kind of see a push for NFTs to come back.
NFT comeback. We're right at the Ethereum pumping. We're at the precipice of alt season, and then which is alternate coins, and then after that it'll be NFTs and meme coins will come back, and it's all cyclical, folks. The liquidity. I was showing this on the screen earlier. Interestingly enough, Basil, I drew these boxes around certain peaks of the Bitcoin maybe a year ago, and we're right in that box where it's supposed to go up, and sure enough, it's going up. And we'll probably see, Bitcoin break $150,000. But in any case, yes, the cycle is Bitcoin pumps, then Ethereum pumps, and once Ethereum pumps, then all the altcoins pump and all the liquidity comes down, and that creates NFT season because people think, I'm rich, I need to spend my crypto on something. How about a picture of a monkey for $100,000? And the cycle will, and then it will all crash again. Although I do wonder how the crash will go this time because so many institutions are coming in and countries, and the landscape of crypto is so different now. I'm curious to see.
To have some sort of stabilizing effect.
Right.
Unless they're just trying to crash the world economy through Bitcoin, which is possible.
It's possible.
But
seems
it's their
to be
own
more of
money. It's the weird thing. It's not even like taxpayer money. It's usually they crash economies at the expense of the poor, but it's really the BlackRocks, the giant hedge funds, the national stockpiles, the billionaires who are purchasing and holding mainly Bitcoin in this case. So, that they're sort of incentivized to not crash Bitcoin specifically.
Well, overall, yes. But the good thing for people like BlackRock is they get to make money regardless of whether the markets are going up or down because they take their profits from the fees, so.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. So at this point, when Wall Street comes into crypto, they will make money with the market going up or going down. But traditionally speaking, in the next 6 months here, and I've been talking about it for years now, and we've been waiting for years, Basil, for this next cycle to really kick in. This next 6 months or so is the peak period for the crypto markets. And if you look at the M2 money supply, it went parabolic, and crypto is just following that line. And Trump is trying to cut rates and do the whole thing with the Fed. So he's really trying to spark some kind of massive money printing moment so he can say, we had the golden age, and then he can, retire into the sunset while the whole world comes to an end, basically.
Right. Yeah.
But there you go. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think there is something to be said about collectibles and just because all that comes in cycles too. It comes in waves, and usually the recession signal is interesting with the Labubus because they're claiming it's like an early indicator, right? It's not that we're in a recession right now, but that it's going to lead to what can appear as a recession. And that tracks. And that could be 6 months from now. That could be a year from now. And they'll say they were right, so.
Yeah.
Right here. Real quick. Psalm 135. They have mouths, but cannot speak. Labubus can't talk. They have eyes, but cannot see unless they are secret Chinese microchips spying on you. They have ears, but cannot hear unless they're Chinese spied ears in their microchips ears. Nor is there breath in their mouths. Those who make them become like them, as do all who trust in them.
Oh.
So maybe the guy who made it is a Labubu, and then anyone who puts trust in a Labubu also becomes like a Labubu, which, I don't know, Basil, there may be something to that. Maybe something to that.
Luckily, Guns, we don't have to buy Labubus. We don't need to even steal Labubus to keep this show going. Because the Lord has sustained us through the value for value model, baby. Woo! That's right, folks. Don't worry. We're not going to advertise. I guess Swiffer Wetjet has been my classic for many years now.
You
because
can't say no free. You can't say the name of the brand if we're not giving them. You got to stop doing that. You got to
prophetically declare the name of the brand in order to break its power over us, Guns. Because if we avoid it, it holds just as much power as
I suppose you're right.
The name. We're on the value for value model, folks. We don't take any money from corporations, communist cartels, folks. The ads on the alt media stuff, I couldn't believe that it could get any worse, and it's worse, worse.
Yeah,
I was listening. I'll just say it. I was trying to listen to Tim Pool the other day. 3 minutes of ads right when you press play. Then you get 7 minutes of content, which he just takes those 7 minutes to tell you, to go become a part of his Discord, to go to an event he's putting on, to do these things, which that's fine. Look, advertise your own stuff. That's good.
Yeah.
7 minutes of that. And then at the 10-minute mark, another 3 minutes of ads. It was just a full. It was crazy.
That would be like us talking about the value for value model and then playing a commercial.
Exactly. I mean, that's the difference, right? People still, they like to come and go, well, you say you don't do ads, but then you talk about supporting you. It's like, yeah, because we're not doing ads. You don't do ads and then do support and then do ads again. It doesn't make any sense. So anyways, it's value for value. And look, folks, it's not just about money. It's time, talent, treasure. Go.
Sorry, I'm seeing a report here. Breaking news. This is Labubu related, so we will have to report on this.
Another heist involving the hot item of the summer. Lara is tracking the Labubu burglars. Lara, $30,000 worth of these dolls.
That's a lot of Labubus.
Yes.
The Chino, California Police Department just made what you might call a Labu bust, recovering over $30,000 worth of highly sought after Labubu dolls. 14 boxes of Labubus were recovered.
Yeah, they did it. They found the Labubus. And by the way, it was reported that it was $7,000 worth of Labubus. Now they're saying 30,000. Did they go up in value because of this heist?
Well,
now these Labubus are, special because they're part of the LA heist.
$7,000 of
purchasing
retail.
the box. Yeah,
the retail cost, I bet, was $7,000. And then they find the stash, and the cops spend all afternoon opening up the Labubus, looking to see if there's any rare ones.
Scanning the Labubus.
You know, maybe one of the rare ones kind of disappears and shows up under the Christmas tree or something.
You got to bring in the forensics department to ensure that, you know, you can open the boxes without leaving any trace of opening it, because you can't, you know, you got to be clear on that.
It's really bizarre with how cheap a tracking chip is these days. The Labubu company could, for nothing, they wouldn't have to change any price of anything. They could put an RFID chip in the official Labubus. They could solve this problem, but
they may already have.
I don't think they want to solve the problem. I think that the guy who's making the real Labubus could also be making the fake Labubus and selling both of them
entirely, of course,
each other.
That is very typical of, you know, these sort of intelligence operations. They always have the front-facing thing, whatever it may be, a government, a politician, whatever, but they also fund and develop the underground, and that's how they create the total conversion or the total control mechanisms. You know, they did that all the time with they do that
Irene,
in the East, they do that.
Irene in the chat says, I would buy a Basil Boo Boo keychain. All right, let's look into
Basil
it.
Boo-Boos.
Right?
Basil Boo-Boos. We're gonna have Basil
Sir
Boo-Boos.
Ike, let's just look. I can already sense Sir Ike just being like, no, what? No.
We're just stretching Sir Ike to the brink.
Let's
He's gonna snap.
Let's just explore what a Basil Boo Boo doll could look like in the supply drop.
Now, will you be a monster? What would you be? What creature? What character?
No, I'd probably just be me in cute plushie form. Maybe have instead of a, you know, what is it called? A bunny outfit on. Maybe it's like an emu outfit. Or maybe we just make little chibi. We could probably just make little chibi plushies of us on keychains.
True.
But the closer we make them look like Labubus, the bigger the chance that they'll catch on and people will wear them around. Basil Boo Boo, yes. Poco Joe, thank you very much. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, what are we doing? Oh, we're getting in. We're doing value for value.
Thank you. Sorry, I got derailed. I found this article about.
You get the point, folks. Time, talent, treasure. It's the only reason we exist. This is a much more than just a podcast. This is a family, a community that's been around for a very long time. And we're going to thank some producers who come in with their time, their talent, their treasure. And remember, these people deserve our thanks, all of our thanks, not just mine, not just Gon's, but all of ours, because these are the people keeping the show alive. One more episode. I will say, producership was quite low this episode, but that's why you get the Labubu story. Okay, you didn't like the Labubu story? Well, can produce the episode. All right, I'll start with our executive producers. You ready?
Labubu, yes.
Okay, here we go. We've got executive producer, of course, Sir LX Protocol, V2 Baron of the Brian Protocol.
Sir LX Protocol. Thank you.
Comes in for $100 and 33 cents. Thank you very much. He's on a 416 episode streak and a 70 episode executive producer streak. Incredible.
Whew.
And coming in response, God bless this executive producer. I think I know what happens is she sees the email go out and she goes, oh, that's very sad. I will executive produce the show. Because we do list the executive producers early on the email. And I must, because her timing is just too incredible. It either, the Lord is appearing to her as a bright light or a fog and telling her what to do, or she's getting the email, or both. I don't know. But that's executive producer Felicia D.
Felicia D, thank you very much. I knew it. I knew it was Felicia D.
And yep, that's the conclusion of our executive producers for this month. We are continuing.
For this episode, you mean?
For this episode. We are continuing to explore the different ways to thank our producers or not thank our producers. And for the month of August, we are giving executive producers credit of various segments during the show. So that's always a fun thing. It's like a mystery box, okay? When they executive produce, they don't know what story we are going to attach their name to. Okay, so this is true. It. This is our Labubu Gons. It's executive produce.
Executive producers.
We'll find a fun name and it'll stick. And for the rest of the show, we'll call them executives pudubus or something. But yes,
out of hand.
During August, we're testing this out, and so far we're having fun. People responding well on the survey. So there you go. Become an executive producers, and who knows? Maybe the placement of your executive producership is on a story that's worth $50,000. It could be you.
Yeah, we're going to create a whole secondary market of Basil boo-boos or
did
whatever.
You just fire that up? What is this?
I did. Yes, this is
AI?
our first iteration of concept art for our Basil boo-boos. What do you think?
Boo-boo. I like it. It's a AI generated doll image of the Angry Birds. I believe it was Sir Salmons who created the Angry Birds version of Basil and Gons there. And those are cute little guys. I think you're onto something there. Yeah. Okay. Now, problem is we try to do everything in the United States for the supply drop, or at least as much as possible. I don't know if we're going to be able to find an affordable, plushy manufacturing company in America. We'll see what we can do. So there you go. Okay. Thank you very much, Felicia D, Sir LX Protocol, executive producers of today's show.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate you all.
We got some people coming in under the executive producer amount. Let's thank them now. And I want to thank this next producer, especially because he responded in response to the reminder that Amber J has laid it out. Executive producer Amber J comes in and says, hey, listen up. For the month of August, every person who signs up for a monthly producership, doesn't matter what the amount is, she will be matching it and match it for 12 months. So that's extremely generous, but it does require other producers to come in and join for a monthly producership. And that's exactly what Sir Holmes, good and faithful knight of the Canarian,
Sir Holmes. Thank you, Sir Holmes.
Comes in for a generous, nice round number, but signs up for the monthly producership. And he's on a 6-episode streak. He's on fire.
Thank you very much, Sir Holmes.
Thank you very much, Sir Holmes. And just a reminder for all producers, if you come in financially, if you produce the show for a nice round number on the 10 or the 5, that's you telling us you'd prefer we don't disclose the amount on the air. If you don't mind us disclosing it, you can put some funky numbers on there. Have some fun with it. 33 cents, 77 cents, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do a Bible verse, something like that. That's telling us that you don't mind us disclosing it. Thank you very much, Sir Holmes, good and faithful knight of the Canarian, coming in for that monthly producership to be matched by Amber J.
All right.
Next up, God bless him, we had Sir Casey the Shield Knight come in.
Ooh, Sir Casey the Shield Knight.
He came in with quite a few producerships. One of them included $7.77. And he is on a 561 episode streak.
Oh, my goodness.
And he sent a private note for fear that he had missed an episode for his streak. I don't think he did. I think maybe he didn't hear his name on Monday, or maybe I didn't read it on Monday, because I have him on the list for Monday. But don't worry, Sir Casey, you're good. The streak is continuing. I thought Sir Casey had found a way to put it on like an automatic every other day option or something. He's been so faithful and so consistent for so long. I did not know that he was actually doing these individually every episode. Very impressive. Sir Casey, your streak remains the longest streak in Canary Cry history.
Sir Casey, the Shield Knight.
We also have the one and only, the American Hobo, comes in for $23.32.
American Hobo, thank you very much.
Yeah, and he's on a 32 episode streak.
Oh,
yeah,
one more, and he's at
there.
that elusive number. Yes,
almost there. Next up, we have, who's this? Oh, Elio's back. Elio comes in for 10-10.
Thank you, Elio. What'd you say? 10-10?
10-10. She's on a 2-episode streak.
That is a streak. Watch out for the AI over there in the UK there, Elio.
I know.
Looks
I
like they're
do
taking
fear
over.
for
And
Elio.
those fake Labubus.
Yeah, don't choke on the fake Labubus. Don't put the Labubu eyeballs in your mouth. Who's this? We had producer Raul S. came in. He's
Raul
back
S.
for
All right.
2230.
Thank you, Raul S.
Very much. Glad to have you back on the list, Raul. We also have Jessica L came in, producer Jessica L. Now, producer Jessica L came in for 333, which usually does not get read in this moment, but she did sign up to produce monthly for 333. So that'll be matched for a year by Amber J.
Thank you very much. There you go.
And of course, remember everybody, go to cagerattlercoffee.com. I'm not going to give the whole thing on that, but just got to remember, if you forgot, if you haven't done it, go to cagerattlercoffee.com. Get some Canarian coffee made for Canarians by Canarians. Support the show, support Canarian families. It's called the parallel economy, folks. Ever heard of it? All right. We also have Mrs. Oh, that concludes the list of financial producers who came in for $7.77 or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. But we have some people who come in under that amount, usually to keep streaks going, and so we'll thank them here. We'll catch them up. We've got Mrs. Tinfoil Hatman is on 166 episode streak.
Thank you, Mrs. Tinfoil Hatman.
We've got Veronica D on a 505 episode streak.
Thank you, Veronica D.
Got Sir Scott, Knight of Truth, on a 552 episode streak.
Thank you, Sir Scott.
And we've got Sir K the Shield Knight. We already did his. Oopsies. What? Yeah, okay. He was on 560 something. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Thank you to all of the financial producers who make this show happen. And folks, I know July was a good month for a lot of reasons. We got a lot of great feedback. We heard a lot of great things from the survey. We had a decent amount of support come in, enough to continue the experiment of keeping the producerships at the end of the show, which of course people like, and many people still stick through, the ones who are really part of fam, really part of the community here, and we appreciate that. However, August is halfway through.
Oops, sorry.
And we've got some beautiful producership challenges going on. Of course, the Amber J challenge. And simply think to yourself, what is Canary Cry worth for 1 month? If it's $3.33, that's great. Come on in, because Amber J is going to match it. But if you cannot find any other way to support the show, go take the survey. The survey is right there down in the description of the show. It's that URL right there. It says tiny.cc/cc867. That's the number of the episode. We're doing these. We're going on month 2 now of these surveys. And goodness gracious, the show just keeps getting better and better. Why? Because people are taking these surveys. We need a few dozen more people to take the survey from last episode. We need a baseline understanding of what people think about having the executive producers think at the beginning of segments. Okay. So if you have thoughts about it, if you like it, if you don't like it, whatever it is, click on that. Take the survey. It's only 2 questions. It takes 15 seconds. 2 questions that are required. There's other options on there. If you want to give us more information, you can give us all sorts of stuff. But there's only 2 required questions. You can take it anonymously if you'd like. And it's very important because, look, if you're just leaving comments or sending emails or something, that's just dust in the wind, baby. But doing it by taking these surveys, that's data. That's data. Become part of the Canary Cry prompt engine and go get involved there. Please, it's a very important thing to do. Tiny.cc/cc867, or just click on it right there in the description. Even if you are listening to the podcast version, it's right there in the podcast description. Okay. Do you have any announcements or any fun things going on, Guns, while I take a second and catch up
Don't
here?
think so. Oh, I may be out next Monday again. Got my dad's thing going on. Although, based on the time that you go live, I might try to just call in to be part of the show as, kind of loosely doing the show without mobile, not necessarily behind the saddle here, but just a heads up. Heads up to you and heads up to everybody that I may be.
To everybody.
On the
Sounds
move.
good.
Yes.
Sounds good. Easy peasy. All right. Well, what I do want to do is remind everybody to take out their phone, take it out right now, open up the text message list. There you go. There you go. And text the word canary to 877-740-3226. That'll put you on the Canary Cry text message alert system, which is a very fun, very important thing to do because if you are getting any notifications at all, you are in the maybe 2% of listeners, followers, subscribers, whatever, who actually get notifications. However, we can't guarantee that that will continue to happen at any moment. Remember 2001 when Face Like the Sun channel just disappeared forever and you never saw us again until about last month? Well, the way to avoid that is by texting the word canary to 877-740-3226. And we'll just send you a little text before every show. But the fun part is you can text us back at that number, and I read them and I love them. And sometimes we read them on the show here. Let's see. Somebody texted. I'm going to just take a stab at this. 269 text and says, have you seen this show? Wow, great show. What a show. I saw the show. Googly eyes. Whoa, a little weird. He's okay, but a little weird. And Asian provocateur. We love this guy, don't we? I was like, look at these guys. I said, what a show. This is some sort of
AI?
hypnotic. I don't know. It's some sort of like it almost makes me think it's like a David Bowie song. Like you remind me of the babe. What babe? The babe with the power. What power? The power. You know that.
You're kind of
kind
talking
of like
to
how I
yourself.
read it a little bit. But whatever it is, I appreciate it and thank you very much. 269. Remember, people, keep an ear out for your area code too, because this is where people are finding out that there's other Canarians in their area code. Oh, there's Sir Holmes. Sir Holmes sent a message. I was looking for this message. Sir Holmes here. I sent a monthly donation for the Producer Match Challenge. Thank you, Sir Holmes. 337 says the googly eyes need to be backlit. LED googly eyes. I'll look into that. Let's see. 970 says, howdy, howdy, and yeehaw from out yonder. Howdy, howdy, 970. 540 in response to the notification today says, perfect. Got off work an hour early. Ready for a good show, fellas. Thank you very much. Here's 254 sent another limerick here. Says, at Burning Man, Basil's known as a giver. Gonza's zeal is like a raging river. And I know when it starts, it all comes from their hearts. Canary cry never fails to deliver. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I like that.
507 says, summoning Labubu or Dame Bibuzuzu. Because I felt
that's right.
Text
Dame
message.
Bibuzuzu.
There we go.
Yeah.
504.
We're tapped into the simulation.
I know. 504 just texted and says, greetings, long-time unspecified watcher. Much love. Appreciate you both very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, 515 just texted 2 words, and those words are meet ups. And when I see that, I know what happened here to 515, and I'm here to help you, 515, because what 515 was trying to do is sign up for the meetup alert system, which is also done by texting the same number. Okay, 877-740-3226. Text one word, meetups with an S.
Canary cry meetups.
MEETUPS, one word. I'm realizing now I should have made it 2 words because people's autocorrect is making meetups 1 word into meetups as 2 words. And so that's a whoopsie on my part. But try it again, 515, text meetups to 877-740-3226, and you'll get put on our meetup alert system. We'll send out very few, by the way. We're not spamming this number, but maybe once a week, you'll get a text message that will tell you about all the meetups going on, and you get an opportunity to text back, put on a meetup yourself, wherever you are. So text meetups to that number. That's good. And Gons, we have some meetups coming up this month. August is a big day so far for meetups, big month rather.
Yeah.
And let's see, we've got the Kansas City area Canary Cry meetup. That's going to be on August 24th. You're going to you're going to email Casey009 at hotmail.com for more details there. By the way, there's more details on all of these meetups. All the details you need are there. Go to canarycrymeetups.com. You'll see all of it. It's, you got times, you got places, and contact information. Casey009 at hotmail.com. On what's the next one here, Gons? We've got the Chicagoland, August 31st, 12 p.m. Portillo's and Barnelli's over there in Glendale Heights, Illinois. You can contact American Canary at protonmail.com. American Canary at protonmail.com. And then, of course, we've got the Dallas, Texas area meetup in Garland, Texas on August 30th. It's the conspiracy-themed party, games, activities, discussions, and more ideas are welcome. You can contact Truth Transistor Radio at gmail.com. Tinky Winky in the chat says Portillo's is so good. Okay, so if you trust Tinky Winky in the chat, the Chicagoland meetup is it's going to be a delicious meetup. Thank you for that, Tinky Winky. And if you want to put on a meetup yourself, it's very easy to do. I can almost guarantee that there are other Canarians in your area, wherever you are. So either join the meetups text message list by texting meetups to 877-740-3226 or send an email to canarycryradio@gmail.com and pick a time, pick a place, let us know about it, and we shall gather the canaries for a nice little meetup in your area. Because if we're not connecting IRL, what's even the point, folks? The Labubus, they are signaling the end of society, and you're going to need real humans with your best interests at heart, who believe the same things, who are aware of the same things, who have the same values, the same priorities, and y'all are the ones that need to come together at these meetups. So pick a time, pick a place, let us know about it. We'll tell the world. You've got more cat-based Labubus, I see.
Well, I'm trying out different things here. There's some different options here.
Those are cute little plushies, the Burning Man, Basil and Gons plushies. Those are good. The one thing I'm noticing with these little plushies, although that's good, the Viking Canary and the Samurai Canary, these are adorable. One thing that's different with the Labubus versus these, though, is that the Labubus have that like hard plastic molded face.
Yeah,
you know. Do you think you'd be able to convince AI to try to
give it a plastic face?
Just like, I don't know, duplicate the Labubu manufacturing process a little bit more?
We can give it
possible.
A shot, I suppose.
Give it a shot. Give it a shot. This is, see, folks, the end of the show, it's not just thanking producers and value for value. This is also a production meeting. Okay. We're here to come together to figure out the new hot product that can signal the downfall of the American economy. Except for the Basil Boo-Boos are going to signal the improvement of the economy. That's the thing. This is a symbol. Yes, the Basil Boo-Boos are going to signify the recovery, the close call of a nosedive economy pulling up at the last second and soaring off into the distance, because, that's how value for value works. All right, Gons, we know this.
Yep. I know. All right. Well, there you go. I don't have much else here. It's going to take a moment to try to generate some of these.
I know. I was just scrolling
specifically Labubu style.
Trying to make sure that I wasn't going to leave any announcements behind. But I will say this. Of course, we've got producers with their time, their talent, their treasure. We're going to thank some time producers here in a moment. But Canary Cry Tech Team, Sir Rightfoot Joy, can email to join the Canary Cry Tech Team at canarycrytechteam@gmail.com. Sir Rightfoot Joy here to announce the creation of the Canary Cry Tech Team. The goal for this team will be to solve the tech issues of the show is experiencing through creative solutions and prayer. If you feel led to help the show in this way, please send an email to canarycrytechteam@gmail.com. Please include your name or alias and any tech-related skills you have. Let's help Basil and Gons get the tech they need. There you go. There's one way you can do it. Some other producers who help out with their time are the time stampers.
Time stampers.
Time stampers. It's hard work.
I zone out every once in a while. Jade Bouncerson, thank you very much for doing the timestamps for episode number 866.
Thank you very much, Jade
Appreciate
Bouncerson.
Yep,
Big old thank you to Jam, who is the head of the Telegram. Jam is also the one keeping us apprised of the Brazil situation.
Yes.
I have been trying my darndest for the past 2 or 3 days to dive deep into this Brazil thing. And I'll tell you what, it just keeps going deeper. It goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And there are about 1,000 little tentacles of this Brazil story. I think it is one of the most interesting things going on right now. But it's not like something like you ask ChatGPT and it's like, oh, Brazil, the conflict with Brazil started at the end of July. And I'm like, no, it didn't. It goes back years. It's crazy. So Jam is doing his darndest to keep us apprised of all the available information. But I want to try to maybe get Jam to call in or something, but he's a busy
Jam.
guy.
Yeah, I guess he's busy. He
He's
can put on a
guy.
voice, like a voice
modulator.
changer.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll put up. He can put on a black face
He's
mask,
in
some
Brazil.
sunglasses.
I don't even know what time it is down there. I think it's winter time. I don't know how that works.
Might be winter. I don't know that the time, whatever it's called, the difference in time. I don't think is that different, right?
Christmas time is here. Thank you, Jam, though, for being the head of the Telegram channel. Somebody get in there, give Jam some props at the Telegram channel. We also got Adam42 bringing up the Discord channel. You can find the invite links to the Telegram and the Discord at canarycry.party. All sorts of links there, very important links, but you'll see the Discord, the Telegram links. Go join those communities because the public internet is dead. Then, of course, thank you, Joe, for all the feedback. Thank you to Clank for all the wonderful things you did. Clank did end up, let me see if I can pull it up. He did end up tracking down some of those questions we had last episode. Did I star? Did I not star? Please tell me. Oh, I'm in the wrong inbox here. Okay, here we go, Clank. Yeah, he tracked down things like the question we had about... No, that's the wrong Clank. There it is. There it is. Robophobia. We talked about on Canary Cry Radio episode 140. This was back in 2019. This is as far back as he could find. He marked the timestamps for your prediction about the Renaissance in sort of handmade human work stuff. Let's see here. Find the timestamp of the prediction. He found the timestamp. Episode 736 was the prediction about personhood of robots. However, it was episode 12 of Canary Cry Radio, which was explicitly
2012.
2012, explicitly about the personhood of robots conversation. So if you want to step into a time machine and see why Canarians were more prepared for this very moment in history than anybody else, go listen to Canary Cry Radio. This is Canary Cry News Talk. Canary Cry Radio, different show. Go check it out. You're going to love it. Look at episode 12 about the personhood of robots, recorded in 2012. It's going to be great. Thank you, Clank, for everything you do. Appreciate that. It's got all the Red Book stuff going into the Red Book. What am I doing? Oh, and other than that, share the show, folks. That's a great Labubu there. Still no hard plastic face.
I know, it didn't really listen to my...
What is the name of this artist? I feel so bad. I've just forgot his name.
Is it
88? It's 88.
88. Yeah.
88 made that. This is a classic piece of Canary Cry art made into beautiful dolls. Thank you very much, 88. Thank you very much, Gons. You're very furry in this one. You're very furry.
Yeah.
Once you have your Basil Boo Boo doll, it'll be so easy to share the show. You'll be walking down the street, the Basil Boo Boo doll will be bouncing off your leg, attached to your belt loop, and everybody will go, "Is that a Labubu demon?" And you say, "No, Labubus are so old school. That's so 2025. Those are good too. That's the what's his name? Jimmy Buffett.
Oh,
it's Jimmy Buffett Basil, and I don't know what that is.
What do you mean? What that? What do you...
CEO Gons? What is? I don't recall.
I don't know
this
why I'm wearing a
part.
C. I don't know why everything
Why does
generates
it
a
say
CEO.
CEO?
I don't know. It just thinks I'm the boss. I don't know.
That's a
What
funny
can I
one.
say?
I like that Basil one there with the half eyeballs and the tongue sticking out. That's
Yeah, it's
very
not bad.
funny.
What is that elf on your shirt there? What is that?
Some AI monstrosity. I don't know. That's not the upside down peace symbol.
The original
sort of witch's
is
cross.
it? Oh yeah, look at that. No, the original piece of art from Dove with this is Nephilim penguins on your shirt in like a Hawaiian style shirt. So
it couldn't quite do it. Couldn't quite
do
make
it.
the
Didn't want to give itself away. You know, it can't be showing us all the secrets of the Nephilim penguin. So
yeah, that's true.
All right,
share the show. Share it with your friends, share it with
Yes.
your family, or don't share it. Share it or don't share it. It's up to you. I would say share it, but if they are looking for Labubus, don't share it with Labubu people, only Basil Boo Boo people. It's up to you. But it is very, very important that you either share the show or don't share the show. I highly recommend it. But we call it rattling cages. And all you got to do is walk right up to him, grab him by the Labubu, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Gons, you got any last words?
Stay tuned for a musical piece that was sent in by Little Owen.
Oh, yeah.
The scripture is titled The Good Shepherd. The Good Shepherd lays down his life for his sheep. Love you guys. And he cited Ezekiel 34, 23, and 24. And I will set up one shepherd over them, and he shall feed them, even my servant David. He shall feed them, and he shall be their shepherd. And I, the Lord, will be their God, and my servant David, a prince among them. I, the Lord, have spoken it. There
Lovely.
you go. You're about to hear it. You're about to hear it go down.
Perfect. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
We're all gonna die.
This is the way. This is the way.
We're all gonna die.
We will hunt you down and make you pay.
It will kill.
They love killing.
Feed him more. Feed him more.
Armageddon's on the way.
The shepherds of Israel that do feed themselves. Should not the shepherds feed the flocks? Should not the shepherds feed the flocks? For thus saith the
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Good